A few weeks back, my Steam store page recommended for me to try Symphony of War, the Nephilim Saga, a new indie fantasy tactical RPG. It caught my eye and, spoiler alert, I liked it so much that it got me to do a video review for it. In this video, I will be providing you with my full review using a new scripted review format. If you enjoy this new review style and want to see more games reviewed in a similar fashion, then make sure to like and leave a comment letting me know. So, after a little bit over 50 hours, my campaign has come to an end. In short, an amazingly fun and surprisingly deep strategy RPG. Could not put it down until the end credits rolled. Keep watching for all the details. For those of you that remember Ogre Battle 64, for the Nintendo 64, you will feel right at home with this game. Even the graphics are a mix between the best Super NES and N64 era of style. It only took a few decades, but I have found my new favorite combination of tactics and RPG goodness of the sorts. For the younger viewers, think Fire Emblem, but with squad combat instead of 1v1 combat and a more shallow relationship system. The story, while traditional, was extremely enjoyable, with a few twists that I didn't quite see coming. Additionally, the ending was a great payoff, with portions that changed based on my matchmaking decisions in the game. Additionally, and minor spoiler here, the ending strongly hints at sequels, which the developer has already mentioned he wants to make. Personally, I hope the game sells enough to warrant their creation. The game transitions from Super NES era story cutscenes, think Final Fantasy VI, a camp mode where you can customize your squads, up to 20 can be brought to some battles, shop for items, recruit new squad members, and tinker to your heart's content with the 50 plus possible class combinations. If you love min-maxing and creating cool thematic armies, then you will love this game. Of the 50 plus hours I spent on the campaign, I think I spent 15 to 20 hours tinkering, with the main campaign lasting around 25 hours for me on normal difficulty. You can also spend a lot of time going into the arena, which is a great place to level up your characters and to gain fat loot between the main story missions. Speaking of missions, the campaign has 30 main story missions alongside 5 side missions. I really like the side missions and their unique rewards, like a unique named dragon. I only wish there were more of these side missions, as they brought flavor and cool optional character unlocks. Speaking of tinkering and customization, you start the game by answering a few questions about your character and personality, but I'm not sure to what extent it has an impact on the story or ending. There were clear options that asked you if you were a man or a woman, if you were a man of faith or more of a militarist, and whether you were kind-hearted or a tyrant. I played as a kind-hearted militarist, and my story seemed to end with an appropriate ending. I wonder what would have happened differently, if anything, if I, for example, played a religious tyrant. Would the ending have been much different? Would love to hear people's experiences in the comments section below. As far as army customizations, this is where the game gets really good. You start with a number of base classes, typical light and heavy infantry, a healer, and caster archetypes, and then each unit can progress through 2 further progressions. There are a lot of options, over 50 in total. There are also a few unique characters/classes that are locked away for use with story characters, some that you can totally miss out on. Oh, and there are dragons. Let's start small and then mature. And for those wanting to roleplay the new Game of Thrones prequel, yes, there are dragon riders in this game, and yes, they are hella cool and powerful. In addition to leveling up your characters, each squad can eventually equip up to 3 artifacts, aka equipment items. They vary in rarity from common to legendary and offer an equal variety of impact on your group. From a variety of damage buffs, defensive effects, and specialized elements like allowing melee units to directly attack units behind walls via a grappling hook, giving your main character an extra attack each combat at the expense of damage done by your other units in the squad, and even a ridiculous legendary that makes it that you almost always attack first, even on defense. There are literally dozens of items that give you an ever-growing set of options. Individual units can also come with one or more perks. Plus, you can add one additional perk to all of your units. Perks are found as items in battles, but can also be bought at the market and in Battle Bazaar. This allows for a tremendous amount of customization across all units. Did I mention each unit is attuned to an element like fire, earth, light, darkness, etc., and it impacts their stat growth? Yeah, it gets deep. And yes, you can find items to change any unit's elemental affinity. Now, this customization may sound overwhelming to some, but don't worry, as you're eased into things. Squad size between 1 and 9 units is limited by your character's squad leader's leadership score that you can increase in a variety of ways. So as the story continues, your squad slowly grows from being 3 to 5 characters / units in size initially until you can max out at 9 per squad. Oh, and then there is the tech tree, which is awesome, as it not only provides you with buffs, but unlocks brand new mechanics, classes, and features. Everything from the aforementioned artifacts, dragon riding, and advanced combat stances are locked behind technology. What is also cool is that even though the game is high fantasy, it also has a magic versus high-tech vibe. 1 to 3 tech trees focuses on improving technology, which unlocks gunners, mounted dragoons, and even devastating cannons that have squad massacring, armor-piercing, AoE attacks. However, these units are balanced as they take a while to unlock, only attack once, most units attack twice per round, and can be made inoperable by bad weather. Yes, weather is a thing in the game, but most players will not realize it's even there, even though it does have a numerical impact on the performance of a variety of units. However, with tech upgrades, you will unlock double attacks for these units, remove their vulnerability to weather effects, and increase their damage dramatically. In the end game, few things can match the power of a mechanized army. The battle maps are what you would expect from any Fire Emblem-like game. However, there are a few differences. First, there is no fog of war. Second, there are a variety of mandatory and optional capture points on each map. Some give you money and prestige points. They increase the fame of your army / company, which I didn't feel had any real impact on the campaign progression as far as I could tell. While others, such as mines, gave you important materials that are required to upgrade basic units to more advanced units. Gems for mages, holy source items for healers, 2 types of metal for martial classes, horses for units with horses, etc. You can also find treasure chests and very important bazaar camps. Note that outside of 1 or 2 exceptions, these bazaars are the only places where you can recruit baby dragons. Pro tip, recruit them whenever possible. This is also where you can buy the rarest items in the game, so I always recommend having between 10,000 and 15,000 gold in reserve or more when heading into battles as soon as you can save up the money. Additionally, this is where you can hire high rarity named characters. You'll know they're rare and named because they will be of a purple quality. They are often extremely powerful and come with very good perks, but they cost an arm and a leg. Within the battle missions themselves, you have a standard win-lose condition along with optional conditions that can garner you extra loot. The combat is automated, and there's a much more advanced rock, paper, scissors effect here than you find in a game like Fire Emblem, as you can make a variety of combination arms or specialized squads to fit your playstyle. As mentioned earlier, you can literally lose yourself in creating the perfect squad to meet your playstyle, and finding a powerful group combination that wrecks the battlefield feels great. Which brings me to combat balance. The units in the game are very asymmetrical, which is great, but some units are so specialized that if you use them wrong or without the proper support, they can feel very weak. Other units, I'm looking at you, Valkyries, are universally awesome and very easy to plug and play into most setups. While I won't go into details here, I would recommend that a standard, non-specialized setup would do well with a tanky front line, 1 to 2 healers in your mid column, with your high DPS units and a back line. This will be your bread and butter setup. But do note that you can go and make some amazing combinations that break this mold once you get the right classes and gear. With that being said, my biggest tip for beginners is to make sure that you always have at least 1 healer in each of your groups, if possible, while you're learning the game. Some reviewers have complained that class X or Y is too weak or squishy, but I found that pretty much all the classes have a way to shine if they are utilized properly. Overall, each of the main battles is fun and will take you between 15 minutes and an hour. There's generally enough pressure/incentive to push the pace, and there are a variety of story/quest-based mechanics spread across the map. I was never bored by any of the maps. The game culminates with an epic endgame boss fight that will not spoil here. If you come well geared and prepared for it, then it should be a cakewalk. However, if you rush the game and don't optimize your groups, I could see some individuals hitting a brick wall on this encounter, as it is different from anything else that you have faced up to this point. In conclusion, Symphony of War, the Nephilim Saga, is an extremely enjoyable fantasy tactics RPG. A great story with enough twists separated from many generic save-the-world stories, a deep army customization system, an extremely enjoyable combat system. If you're a fan of the genre and the graphical style, I gotta say, this game is a must-buy. Now, if you have watched this far and want to see more video reviews like this, make sure to drop a like and let your voices be heard in the comments section. Thank you for all the support, and I'll see you in my next video.